Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On the News Hour tonight, over 130 people confirmed dead in boat mishap in Kwara, with over 50 bodies recovered so far. Akpabio Abbas emerged Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives. A physically challenged person emerges Speaker of the Adamawa State House of Assembly. And on the foreign scene, Eritrea rejoins East Africa Trade and Security Bloc IGAD after 16 years. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start the bulletin in Kwara, where over 130 people have been confirmed dead after a ferry conveying them to a wedding capsized. The incident occurred in the early hours of Tuesday as they were returning to Ebu village after the wedding ceremony at Boti community. About 50 dead bodies have been recovered while search operation continues. A paramount ruler of the area, Etsu Pategi Ibrahim Umar, confirmed that many have died after the incident while rescue and search operation is ongoing. States like Sokoto, Niger have also experienced several deadly boat mishaps in recent times.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kwara State, Malam Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, actually called me to commiserate with us and told me that I should engage with them. Inshallah, also we'll try and engage our people so that we can condole them and see how we can possibly to avert such incidents in the next future.
It's a very devastating development, and it's one occurrence, one sad occurrence, too many. And on behalf of His Excellency and the government of Kwara State, we commiserate with the people of Patigi and, of course, all the families that were affected in the unfortunate incident. It's our prayer that Almighty God will repose the soul of the departed and comfort their family, and of course stave off such occurrences in the future. As a government, will continue to work with local authorities to ensure that such things do not happen again in the future.
Senator Godswill Akpabio has emerged President of the Nigerian Senate. He defeated his lone opponent, Senator Abdulaziz Yari, in a keenly contested election. Senator Ali Ndume nominated Akpabio, while Senator Elisha Abo nominated Senator Yari when the Clerk of the National Assembly, Sani Tombol, called for nominations. After the election, Senator Akpabio was declared winner by the National Assembly Clerk. Akpabio got 63 votes, while Senator Yari had 46, with all 109 senators voting in the election. The report.
In line with laid-down procedures, Senator Ali Ndume nominated Senator Godswill Akpabio for the post of the Senate President, while Senator Elisha Abo nominated Senator Abdulaziz Yari as his opponent.
It is my utmost honor and privilege to now present to you His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio for the Senate Presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Where is he? Please stand up. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Abdulaziz Yari to take the chair as the President of the 10th Senate. I so move.
Yari's nomination, however, did not go down well with Senator Tahiru Mungunu, who now said that Yari's nomination was unconstitutional. Mungunu's stance, however, led to a rowdy session before the Clerk of the National Assembly intervened. After the election, Senator Akpabio was declared winner and the Clerk of the National Assembly administered oath of office on him. Senator Barau Jibril from Kano State emerged unopposed as Deputy President of the 10th Senate.
Senator-elect Godswill Akpabio who has received the highest number of votes is hereby declared and returned President of the Senate.
In his acceptance speech, Senator Godswill Akpabio assured Nigerians of harmonious legislative-executive relationship. He, however, emphasized that the legislative arm would maintain its independence despite being endorsed by his party.
We will try our best to also make laws that will move forward and encourage foreign direct investment into the country. The current administration has brought about the acronym of Renewed Hope, and I think the Senate will join in ensuring a total renewal of hope for Nigerians, where there seem to have been no hope.
On the issue of petroleum subsidy removal, Akpabio assured that all necessary legislation will be put in place to cushion its effects.
I want to plead with you, distinguished senators, to permit me to offer special commendations to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for the bold step he has so far taken, particularly in the issue of subsidy. If it requires legislative backing, we shall give.
Shortly after being sworn in, he equally sworn in all the other senators-elect for the 10th Assembly to commence.
Still staying with that development, the APC consensus candidate Tajuddin Abbas has emerged as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Abbas polled 353 votes to defeat the immediate past Deputy Speaker of the House, Ahmed Idris Wase, and Aminu Sani Jaji, who got 3 votes each. Before the commencement of the voting, Abbas was nominated by the immediate past House Leader Al-Hassan Adudogwa and seconded by Nnolim Naji. Tijani Kayode Ismail nominated former Deputy Speaker Ahmed Idris Wase, and his nomination was seconded by Muhammad Ari Abdul Mumin. Ahmed Yusuf Ibrahim Doro nominated Aminu Sani Jaji, who was seconded by Muhammad Aminu Ibrahim. Abbas, however, scored the highest vote to emerge as the Speaker and was immediately sworn in by the Clerk of the National Assembly, Sani Tambuwal.
I rise to present to you a man, like I said, who I believe is creditably reliable, and by providence of his hard work, he has been able to take to his credit 78 legislative bills, out of which 20 bills have been accented by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination as made by
I vote Honorable TJ Abbas.
He said that he will do all the good he can to all the people he can, at all the time he can, in all the places he can, to all the members he can, and every inch of the time.
By Honorable Jimmy Benson and ably seconded by Honorable Kanija. I so accept.
Well, let's unpack some of these developments. Joining us virtually on the News Hour tonight is Sharif Ghali Ibrahim. He's a professor of political science and international relations at the University of Abuja, and he joins us virtually via Zoom this evening. Professor, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us at this hour.
Thank you for having me.
Right, first and foremost, your thoughts on what transpired at the National Assembly. The 10th National Assembly has been inaugurated. It almost went as a script as the endorsed or anointed candidates of the president and the APC succeeded in getting into office. What are your thoughts about what happened?
You see, what happened actually happened. It is a democratic process in which we have those contested, and democratic process reveal those who are winners, and these people are going to administer and lead the lawmaking process of Nigeria in both the lower and upper chamber. But what actually we should be looking at is what are the major issues, the challenges that these particular lawmakers will be facing, both at lower as well as the upper chamber. They represent the entire Nigerian people. They make laws on behalf of Nigerian people. They also make decisions, on behalf of the Nigerian people. So anything that affects Nigerians affect members of the National Assembly who are in charge or have the obligation and responsibility to make effective laws that could actually serve for the betterment and serve, Nigerian people that will pave a way for the betterment of Nigerians.
Right, Professor. If I can just chime in, Professor.
Longevity.
If I can just chime in, Professor. There are a lot of people who feel as though when you talk about service to the people, this was by design what the APC wanted. They zoned the positions to the various geopolitical zones as a way to balance, the positions, the high-ranking positions across the country. And many think that at the end of the day, this is what the Tinubu administration wants. So as far as the Nigerian people are concerned, they just have to, once again witness the performance that the Tinubu administration wants from this new leadership. And it might not necessarily be a reflection of what the entire populace would want. What are your thoughts about whether or not this would be in the same vein what we saw with the 9th Assembly?
And then what you should understand basically is that the party, which is the ruling party, always emerges victorious. Not only, Mr. President, what Tinubu wants. Let's go back to the local government. What a local government chairman wants, that is what prevails. Not even to think of a governor. What a governor wants in the state, that is what prevails. Not even to think with Mr. President. So if, Mr. President, it's democracy, what Tinubu wanted and he got it, but not by imposing, even though if he has imposed a candidate, there are other contestants, within the National Assembly who contested with the candidate selected by Tinubu. The votes have been cast and these particular people emerge victorious. But what we are after is, the end justifies the means. We are not after even the process. What we are after is, how will that affect Nigerians? Are Nigerians going to have reduced poverty reduced? Are Nigerians going to have more foreign direct investment that will actually attract more jobs, to women youth? Are we going to see more legislation that will actually deal with insecurity and corruption in the country? These are the issues, that we should be expecting. So They have this particular task ahead of them, which we expect them to actually go beyond party lines, to actually work hand in hand with the executive in making sure that Nigerians tap from the dividend of democracy.
Okay.
Otherwise, the representation will be to no avail. Representation and lawmaking will be without no impact, no effect, if an ordinary citizen in the country does not actually realize the dividend of democracy in this particular assembly.
Okay.
They should focus on some key areas.
Prof, if we can segue onto other talking points, but staying with this particular development, let's talk about the personalities that actually emerged, and also your thoughts on what happened with the Green Chamber, where you had 3 people contest for the coveted position of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. In the amended House rules, of course, it did allow that when you have more than 2 contestants, it will have to go to a voice vote. And many seem to believe that going to the voice vote might have affected the pattern of voting, where in the Senate, it was a secret ballot where you can pretty much tell from the 50% percentage of the votes that Mr. Akpabio got. So let's talk about the personalities involved. Senator Godswill Akpabio, former governor, former commissioner, former senator, former minister. the track records are there. And Tajuddin Abbas, obviously, a well-known figure within the Green Chamber. What are your thoughts about their quality of leadership and what perhaps you expect from them as far as output or productivity is concerned?
You have already said it all. You did not even let me talk about that. By bringing the record, the political record, the official record of Godwin Akpabio. You know, what matters is not even experience. You know, experience, you know, is also a kind of an instrument that people should actually put in cognizance. But what we are after is responsiveness, the ability to take responsibility. And if Akpabio be there, he was a governor before, and he knows the aspirations of the people within the National Assembly who represent the entire Nigerian people. So the personality of Godwin Akpabio is someone who, you know, go for what he wants.
Right.
And for now, he has gotten the seat. And I wish that those who vote for him will actually give him a close mark, so that for him to also support what they want, because what they want is what the Nigerians want. So therefore, to this particular effect, we expect Akpabio to reflect the aspiration and yearnings of Nigerians.
Yeah, Prof. Unfortunately, Prof, for want of time, we're going to have to end the conversation here. But thank you for your insights and thoughts on this development, Professor Mudassir Sharif, I beg your pardon, Professor Gali Sharif Ibrahim, a professor of political science and international relations at the University of Abuja. Join us via Zoom. I wish you a safe trip to your destination. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. But let's further the conversation, and join us in the studio at this hour is Daily Trust Deputy Editor who has previously covered the National Assembly. Mr. Ismail Mudassir is joining us at this hour. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Good evening.
First and foremost, let's talk about what Senator Godwin Akpabio said during his inaugural speech. And he did say, while he thinks that this is a reflection of what Nigerians want through their senators in the election, he also made mention of the fact that they need to align themselves with the vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to take Nigeria out of the doldrums. There are some people who think that is a commendable statement to make, and there are those who worry that this actually signals that they're always going to be in agreement for the next 4 years. And some people are not necessarily happy about that. What are your thoughts about it, especially from experience, the relationship between the Assembly, especially the Senate, and the presidency?
You know, the relationship should not be a cat and mouse relationship. You understand? People that are against the statement of the newly elected Senate president, they are saying this because of what happened in the previous parliaments, whereby the Senate or the National Assembly was seen as a rubber stamp, that everything goes under the previous assembly. So maybe that's why those people are of this opinion. And you see, I don't blame them.
So you don't think it limits their ability to perform their oversight functions, to check and balance the executive if they're too friendly?
No, yes, definitely it will limit their ability to perform. You know, the parliament exists for two things: lawmaking and oversight. And by the time you see the lawmakers are just like the previous assembly, a lot of things will not work in the favor of the masses. You know, people are still talking, lamenting about the debt approvals, loans that were approved by the ninth assembly. So people are expecting, yes, to cooperate with the president, the executive, but the cooperation should not be at the detriment of the masses. That's the expectations of, I think, everybody in the country.
What about how close the election was? In the House of Representatives, it was a landslide. A lot of people did not see that coming after all the permutations and all the controversies. But in the Senate, Akpabio won with just 17 votes. What do you think about the opposition going forward, especially seeing how keen the contest was? Would he have an easy ride?
You know, the election is over now. A lot of them will come back and work together. You know, in Parliament, there are a lot of interests. One, since the election is concluded now, the next thing is principal officer. You talk about committees. Everybody wants to have a juicy committee, so I will be able to attract good projects to his constituency.
Right.
And you talk about the House of Rep election having maybe 3-3, the two other contenders having 3-3, and in the Senate, the two things played out. One, in the Senate, it was secret ballot. One in the House of Rep, it was open
But
voice
you also
vote.
look that the PDP and the Labour Party have a significant number going into that election.
Yes, you are right.
In the House of Reps.
Yes, the mobilization, interventions from different quarters, especially the presidency.
Right.
2-3 days ago, the two other key contenders, Betara and
I think is another Gagdi.
Gagdi, the guy from Plateau.
Right.
Based on the intervention of the presidency, they pull out of the race. And I think that also contributed to the victory of Tajuddin Abbas.
All right. Interested to take Mr. Ismail Mudashir. Thank you very much for your insight on this one. Appreciate you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to some of the day's other news now. Members of Borno State House of Assembly have again elected Abdul Karim Lawan as the Speaker of the for the fourth time. Abdul Karim Lawan is the longest serving Speaker of the Assembly since 2012. Bitrus Kursi has more.
The Borno State House of Assembly began its Tuesday plenary with the nominations for the seats of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker. The nominations of Abdul Karim Lawan and Abdullahi Musa as Speaker and Deputy were unopposed. They were sworn in without objection.
I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
The Speaker, Abdul Karim Lawan, said he will focus on agriculture, education, security, health, among others. He added that the legislature will work with the state government for the development of the state.
To achieve those goals, we will ensure all legal appropriate laws are passed toward ensuring good governance. At this juncture, I ask my colleagues to tighten belts to work with our long-having governor, Professor Baraka in the 10th Borno State House of Assembly. The 10th Borno State House of Assembly will do all within its power to see that conditions of service are improved, open and staff welfare is given top priority.
The Speaker of the 10th Borno State House of Assembly is from Guzamala constituency, where Boko Haram terrorists are still in control of some parts of the area. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Member representing Rogo constituency, Jibril Falgore, of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has been elected the new Speaker of the Kano State House of Assembly. Bello Utubutu, representing Dawakin Tofa, is returned Deputy Speaker after the inauguration of the Assembly on Tuesday. The new Speaker pledges to work in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
And that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
40 members of the Kano State 10th Assembly have now taken their oath of office within the Assembly's complex.
That as Speaker of Kano State House of Assembly, I will discharge my responsibilities.
I will discharge my duties.
To the best of my ability. Faithfully. And in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Representing Rogo constituency in the Assembly, the Speaker, while taking his oath of office, assured that the House will not waste time in moving ahead with the assigned responsibility by the good people of Kano State.
I wholeheartedly accept the mandate, and I pray for Allah to intervene and guide me throughout my time as the Speaker of this honorable House. It is the will of Allah, the most gracious, the most compassionate, who made it possible for me to be the Speaker of this honorable House. I must also thank and appreciate His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf.
To be deputized by Bello Butubutu of Rimingada Tofa constituency, the Speaker also promised that all other principal officers of the 10th Assembly will be announced in the next coming days. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now in Adamawa State, a physically challenged member representing Hong constituency, Batia Wesley has emerged Speaker of the State House of Assembly. The election of Wesley has elicited excitement among people with physical disability in the state. Here's Salis Lawan with the rest of the story.
What we are yearning for as a persons with disability is the issue of the establishment of the Adamawa State Disability Rights Commission. This law was passed in 2016.
The 25 members of the 8th Adamawa Assembly were sworn on Tuesday. The emergence of Batia from among the people living with disability as the Speaker of the Adamawa State House of Assembly after a kingly contest raises hope of persons with disability.
For employment opportunities, because persons with disability have been able to go to school and acquire education, but most of them, they are unemployed, and most of them are on street begging, begging for survival, which we are not happy about it, but we are expecting with the current government and some of the key cabinets who have been sworn in today, we are optimistic that employment opportunities will be given to persons with disability. Nothing for us without us.
After the inauguration of the 25 members of the Adamawa 8th Assembly, expectations are high, and the new Speaker Batia promised to lead an open doors policy and be fair to all.
As a new Speaker, I will work assiduously with my colleague to consolidate on the achievement of my predecessors. I will work for the protection and promotion of the right of the legislative arms of government. I want to seize this opportunity to thank His Excellency, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umar Fintiri, for his unflinching support to the legislative arm since his inception as the Governor of Adamawa State. I urge him to continue with the good job. I also thank him for the tremendous development stride in the state.
While some people are demanding good representation to address frequent farmer herder crisis in the state, others want welfare of the people to be taken into consideration.
Because I so much believe if there is a strong law on this between those farmers and the Fulani or the herdsmen, I so much believe things will work out well. If they can take a strong law on them, let there be rules and regulation. If Fulani man or herdsman violates the regulation, they will be called upon. If farmer violates, they will be called upon. Let there be mutual understanding between the farmers and the Fulani men.
Now that the governor got another mandate for 4 years, we pray he will pay back those who assist him and every resident in terms of welfare.
Stakeholders are optimistic the second term of the governor will not be restricted to road construction but affect every other aspect of human life. Batia will pilot the affairs of the 8th Adamawa State House of Assembly in the next 4 years. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
Right, staying with the inauguration of state assemblies, the 8th Katsina State House of Assembly has been inaugurated this Tuesday. During the inauguration, member representing Daura local government area, Nasser Yahaya, was unanimously elected as the Speaker of the House. Similarly, Abdul Jalal Runka, representing Safana constituency, was elected unopposed to serve as Deputy Speaker. Abdullahi Yamadi reports.
After electing the Speaker and his deputy, the clerk to the House, Lawal Dan Suleiman, administered the oath of office on the new leaders. The new Speaker, Nasir Haya, said the 8th Assembly will partner with the executive to address security challenges facing the state. He also promised to work with NGOs, CSOs, and all other relevant stakeholders to enable it to succeed in its mandates.
In this assembly, our programs of action with Isha and our focus
speaker added that he will run an inclusive assembly that will prioritize vulnerable groups such as people living with disabilities, women, and children, among others. The new Speaker of Katsina State House of Assembly equally expressed optimism that the new set of members of the 8th Assembly will justify the confidence reposed in them by making legislations that will better the lives of people of the state. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
In Kaduna, Dahiru Liman, member representing Makera Kakuri constituency, has emerged Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly. Henry Danjuma, member representing Kagarko constituency, was elected Deputy Speaker of the Assembly. Bello Musa reports from Kaduna.
Well-being and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will strive.
In his remarks immediately after he was sworn in by the clerk of the House, Sakinat Hassan, the new Speaker, Dahiru Liman, pledged to have a united assembly, assuring that the legislature will closely work with the executive arm for betterment of the state.
I pledge to promote and maintain a good and cordial working relationship with the executive arm of government as legislature. We are duly bound to provide effective oversight on the activities and policies of the government. We will work closely with the executive arm to ensure that need and aspiration of our constituents are met.
Kaduna State Governor Ubasani, who received the new speaker at the Sir Kashim Ibrahim House after the inauguration, also assured him of a cordial relationship with the members of the assembly.
I believe we have to cooperate. We have to work together as one family, and I can assure you, by the grace of God, here in Kaduna, I will not discriminate against anyone.
APC maintains its majority in the assembly. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Adamawa State Governor Umaru Fintri has urged the newly appointed Secretary to the State Government, the Chief of Staff and Head of Service to prioritize the welfare of the citizens, especially the vulnerable and marginalized groups in the society. Salis Lawan reports that the governor gave the charge while swearing in the appointees in Yola, the state capital.
The Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The new secretary to the Adamawa State Government, Awal Tukur, who is the son of the former governor of Old Gongola State, was picked ahead of the immediate past SSG Ahmed Bashir, who many believed worked against his immediate constituency, Yola North, in last election. The governor also inaugurated the head of civil service of the state, Shehu Isa Arbo, and Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Afremon Jingi. Speaking after administering the oath of office on the four appointees, Governor Umaru admonished them to consider their appointment as a call to serve the populace.
I urge you to work tirelessly in the discharge of your duties, keeping the interests of the people of Adamawa State at the forefront of your minds. As you assume your new roles, I implore you to embrace teamwork and collaboration. Together with other members of the cabinet that will soon be appointed, I expect you to foster a harmonious and inclusive working environment where ideas are freely shared and decisions are made in the best interest of our people.
The secretary to the state government, Awal Tukuru, pledges on behalf of others to give in their best for even development of the state.
We all understand that leadership is not merely a title or a position. It is a responsibility to serve the people with integrity, with empathy, and with fairness. We also further recognize the significance of teamwork and collaboration.
The new appointees were encouraged to seek innovative approaches to governance, tapping into the vast potential of Adamawa State toward ensuring that every citizen has a voice and a stake in the government. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Experts prefer solutions to cushion the effects of subsidy removal. More news coming up ahead.
Dear residents of our beautiful capital city of Abuja, I know we all desire to have a world-class city with working infrastructure and clean streets. That is why the Federal Capital Territory Administration is investing a lot of resources and manpower to ensure prompt evacuation of refuse from all nooks and crannies of the city. Now, this can only be sustained if all residents play their part by promptly paying their waste collection bills. Encourage everyone around you to be patriotic and pay their bills. The task of keeping Abuja clean is for all of us. Remember, soup way sweet, na money kill out. This message is from the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
That's great.
Welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our top stories at this hour. 130 people confirmed dead in both mishap in Kwara. 50 dead bodies have so far been recovered. Akpabio Abbas emerged Senate President, Speaker of the 10th National Assembly. Now to some of the day's other news. The People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar wants the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, subpoenaed to appear before the tribunal to identify documents obtained from the commission but rejected by INEC lawyers when tendered. The INEC chairman, this was said after the electoral umpire in the country rejected some documents, and PDP also presented its star witness on Tuesday to testify against the election of Bola Tinubu. In the same vein, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has tendered additional 188 exhibits before the Presidential Election Tribunal.
Yes, well, you see, today we called our star witness who gave very robust evidence. And you see, in the course of his evidence, he also tendered those video clips, very important video clips, showing the INEC chairman making the commitment to Nigerians for that real-time transmission of the results by the BVAS machine to the IRF. And you see, with that established, we are very, very happy with what has happened today. And he also tendered even screenshots from the IRF. You saw the documents tendered. So when we now mentioned that we had subpoenaed the INEC chairman, you can see that there are some documents we tendered and they objected to. But now we are also subpoenaing them to come by themselves and produce those documents. Yeah. Those documents, let them produce them themselves so that we'll know whether they will object or not object to the ones they will produce by themselves.
Now, the chairman of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Olaposi Ogini, has denied his purported arrest, saying he only honored a police invitation in Abuja. He accused the party's gubernatorial candidate, Olufemi Ogutoyinbo, and some others as responsible for the widespread of his fake arrest. Mr. Ogini spoke at a June 12th Democracy Day celebration with the topic Dr. Boniface Iniabonam, the messenger of God for a new Nigeria, held in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. He described the petition written to the police as frivolous and nonsense, saying he was not a terrorist, nor a money launderer and a gun runner. Mr. Ogini, while commending the police for carrying out their duties professionally, urged Nigerians to see police as their friends. Ogini, however, called on the NNPP's presidential candidate, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, to call all those causing troubles in the party following the party's withdrawal of petition against Governor Dapo Abiodun's election and the Independent National Electoral Commission to order.
They invited me to Abuja and I answered the question and they did what is expected of a professional police all over the world. I say kudos to them. And I want them to keep it up. And I want to assure Nigerians that this is a new order in Nigeria. Police, they are your friends. If you are not criminal-minded, you are a friend of police. So all the frivolous things that they have said and all the allegations that are founded, I want to tell you, this is me sitting down in the NPP secretariat in Abeokuta. Hi, Comrade Ogini Olakosi-Sunday, I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a gun runner. And I'm not a 419er like some of them that think that maybe we are doing money laundering.
A National Industrial Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the arrest of the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali, and the Force Secretary, AIG Hafiz Inua, for disobeying the court order regarding it as contempt. The court had earlier ordered the Inspector General to reinstate some police officers who are graduates of courses 33, 34, and 35 of the Police Academy, saying they have been forcefully retired by the force, but the court order was allegedly not complied with. The aggrieved officers approached the court and sought an order to nullify their compulsory retirement from the service by the Inspector General of Police. The court, presided over by Justice Oyebiola Oyeumi, then ordered that the Inspector General, the Police Service Commission, and the Force Secretary of the Police to reinstate the forcefully retired officers. However, since April 19, 2022, when the judgment was delivered, the IGP and other defendants have yet to obey the court order. In a recent order given by the court on June 8th of 2023, a copy of which was made available to newsmen on Tuesday, Justice Oyeumi chastised the Inspector General of Police and the latter's refusal to obey the court order despite advice from relevant stakeholders in the police force. Elsewhere, the kidnapped parish priest of Holy Trinity Catholic Church, Karku, in Kauru local government area of Kaduna State, Reverend Father Jeremiah Yakubu, has been released by his abductors. This was confirmed by the Chancellor of the Catholic Diocese of Kafanchang, Father Emmanuel Okolo, who said that the kidnapped priest regained his freedom on Monday evening. He, however, did not disclose if any ransom was paid or not before the abducted priest was released. Yakubu was kidnapped from the parish rectory in the Kauru local government area of Kaduna State at about 11 p.m. on Sunday. Kidnapping for ransom is common across Nigeria's northwest and north central regions, and Kaduna State is one of the worst hit states. Religious clerics and peasants in vulnerable communities across the state have fallen prey to the kidnappers. Some of them have been killed in captivity, while others were freed after ransom payment. The police in Rivers State say 4 individuals, including 1 female, all of whom were suspected members of a notorious gang of kidnappers operating along the Imohua local government area axis of the East-West Road, were neutralized. The suspected kingpin, 25-year-old Nwodi Amadi, from Ilibrada community in Imohua local government area of the state, was neutralized during the operation carried out by the intelligence team of the police command on Monday. The Commissioner of Police, Awoni Polycarp, told journalists in Port Harcourt on Tuesday that Amadi was wanted for armed robbery, kidnapping, cultism, and other crimes. Arms recovered included 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 pump-action rifle, and 1 assault rifle, along with rounds of live ammunition. Polycarp stated that the gang engaged the police in a gun battle at Ogoloma community in the Okrika local government area of the state, where they had been hiding. The local government chairman of Emoha, Chidi Lloyd, who had placed a bounty of 2 million naira on the head of the kingpin, commended the police commissioner for a job well done, saying the pledge had been redeemed to the police. Some victims who were rescued from the kidnappers' den have also been reunited with their families. The Nasarawa State chapter of the Nigeria Medical Association has given a 21-day strike ultimatum to Governor Abdullahi Sule over the poor welfare packages of doctors across the 13 local government areas of the state. Addressing journalists in Lafia, the state capital, on Tuesday, the state chairman of the NMA in the state, Dr. Peter Atta, affirmed that the failure of the state government to implement doctors' demands within the period given to the state government, the association will have no option rather than to declare indefinite industrial action.
The issues around the ultimatum that we served them, they were just 5 issues that we feel these are issues that the government can actually attend to in the immediate time so that we can restore services, we can guarantee services, because our members are actually passing through a lot of hell, ranging from the recent Japan syndrome, where a lot of healthcare workers, especially the doctors, are living in droves. And then even the few that are on ground, they are not being encouraged.
Now, reactions have continued to trail the recent fuel subsidy removal by President Bola Tinubu. As Nigerians struggle to adapt to the new normal of soaring petrol prices, economic experts have preferred possible solutions to cushion the effect on Nigerians. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail reports.
In the last 2 decades, successive Nigerian governments have made several efforts to remove fuel subsidy that cost billions of naira on daily basis. Former President Muhammadu Buhari planned to disburse 5,000 naira stipends to poor Nigerians to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal. Experts have since criticized the move, which according to them is not the right decision, calling for a better means of palliatives.
But you see, in terms of palliatives, you see, the subsidy removal is a good policy if the government can come up with well thought out plans, if it can come up with sound policies. But again here, the policies again is something very difficult because you need time to identify who are actually the poor masses who are going to be hit by this effect. Take for instance the those employed in the urban areas. They are mostly going to be affected by this recent subsidy removal, as well as those in the rural areas. But the urban masses are mostly going to be hard hit because price of transportation will go up.
The economic expert who maintained that removing fuel subsidy is a right decision pointed that failure to introduce viable means of palliatives and other infrastructure to support the masses will lead to inflation.
Prices of some basic amenities will go up. So I think if government can come up with a sound way also as to ensure, okay, in terms of maybe government will roll out some palliative measures, maybe buses, like how you find in some developed countries where at least there are lots of infrastructures. You see, that's why the government is saying it wants to channel these resources into infrastructure like good roads, health, education, and so on and so forth. So I think R&D and so on and so forth. So I think if government actually channels these resources into those sectors, fine and good. But if it fails to do so, well, I think the people will feel dejected. The government has failed them once more. But I think let's be optimistic.
Although President Bola Tinubu promised palliatives to cushion the effect of soaring fuel prices, it is not yet clear what his policy will look or when it will come to effect. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
This is the News Hour on Trust TV. We will return shortly after the break. lots of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening.
Now looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
Inherited a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the
Already, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at.
Welcome back to the News Hour. On the foreign scene, Eritrea says it is ready to work towards peace, stability and regional integration after it rejoined the East African Bloc, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, on Monday, popularly known as IGAD. The move comes nearly 16 years after the politically isolated state pulled out of the bloc. Information Minister Yemeni Meskel says Eritrea resumed its activity in IGAD and took its seat at a summit organized by the seven-nation bloc in Djibouti on Monday. The East African nation, led by 77-year-old Isaias Afwerki, who has ruled for 3 decades, has suspended its IGAD membership in 2007 after a string of disagreements. One of them was the bloc's decision to ask Kenya to oversee the resolution of a border dispute between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Eritrea broke away from Ethiopia in its neighbor in 1993 and fought a 2-year border war that prolonged into tense and bitter relations until 2018, when a peace agreement was signed with Abiy Ahmed, Ethiopia's prime minister. The youths in Plateau State have been enjoined to engage themselves in productive ventures to complement efforts of security agencies in the fight against criminality in the state. Against this backdrop, the State Police Command has organized a football competition for the youths of just communities to strengthen police-community relations in the state. Ado Musa completes the report.
The football competition draws participants from the 5-ward Undersea Division. The State Police Commissioner, Bartholomew Onyeka, who witnessed the kick-off of the event, says the competition is primarily aimed at fostering peace, unity and effective youth participation in community policing in the state, adding that football is key to uniting communities.
When football is being played, you see every person being happy. And it's one of the key ingredients when you talk about police-community partnership. We are working in the community. We'll do everything with them. So football, I believe, is one of the ways which I feel we can get more closer.
The spokesperson of the State Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, explains what the event is all about.
The Commissioner of Police, through the DPOC division, have organized this youth program. We call it Salah Peace football match, to engender peace among our youth and to bring them together, and also give them 1 or 2 tips as regards securing their community.
Some community leaders commend the police for organizing the competition to promote peace in the state.
The competition will bring the community and the police, entire police, not only C division, together, so that people will understand what is police. Because some assume police is their enemy, and police is not enemy. It's only the enemy of the criminal. If you are a criminal, police is your enemy.
This competition is organized to ensure peace and unity among the youths. We are happy that police is organizing the event. It will go a long way in fostering unity. We are calling on our youths to cooperate with the police in whatever they do, so as to have peace in our communities. Winner of first position of the competition will be given 100,000 naira, whilst the second position will attract 70,000 naira, and 50,000 naira will go to the third position. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And now for your daily dose of sports, let's join Adeni Ajisafe for more sports news.
The unbeaten run of Nigeria's women cricket team, the female yellow-green, came to a halt on Monday after suffering a defeat to Uganda women cricket team. The Nigerian women's team started the tournament beating the host Rwanda, Kenya and Botswana. Nigeria surrendered an unbeaten run by 5 wickets to Uganda women's team, also unbeaten in the competition. A breakdown of the game indicated Nigeria had 20 overs, while Uganda recorded 18.1 to emerge winner. And in football, Super Eagles head coach Jose Pizarro has congratulated 2023 Nigerian Premier Football League NPFL champions Enyimba International. Pizarro also congratulated the 5 teams that participated in the Super 6 playoffs alongside Enyimba, who won its 9th NPFL title on Sunday night at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Lagos, after a 1-1 draw with former champions Rivers United. Enyimba International, Remo Stars and Rivers United finished 4th, 2nd and 3rd on the log with 9 points each after 5 games in the just concluded NPFL Super 6 playoffs. Enyimba and Remo Stars qualified to represent Nigeria in the 2023-2024 CAF Champions League based on superior goals difference, while top place Rivers United picked CAF Confederations Cup ticket. That's Sport News. I'm Adini Ajishafe.
Many thanks to Adeni for that sports wrap-up. And with that, we've come to the end of the news hour on Trust TV. Be sure to join us via social media and follow our handles across all social media platforms and our YouTube live stream. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. As always, thank you for your time and company.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.